Patrick McEnroe doing a terrific job on the French Open at Roland Garros on TNT.
Thank you, sir.
Can I pick a bone? Not with you, but with tennis and TNT.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know if it's a TNT thing. Why is it called? Why does nobody say the French Open anymore? Why is it just Roland Garros? Can you help me with this?
That's how the French want it. You know who Roland Garros was, Jason.
Tell people, tell me who
Roland Garros was a French fighter pilot. Okay, and what happened was there was no stadium here, and I think it was in the 20s, maybe the 30s, when they had the three musketeers of French tennis that were, Henri Lacasse. What's the other guy?
I should have just said yes. I should have just said yes.
Cochet. Anyway,
I should have just said yes.
No, here's what happened. So they beat the U.S. that dominated in Davis Cup. And back in those years, Davis Cup was huge. They beat the U.S. in the year before in the U.S. So then the next year, they had to have the rematch. Okay. And they said the French Federation, tennis got so big, we need to build a stadium. So they went to like one of the local clubs or something that had to give them the okay to use this land here by the Bois de Boulogne. Okay. It was like a club, and the club said, okay, you can build it, but you have to name it after one of our fighter pilots. Roland Garros was a fighter pilot in World War II, I think it was. No, World War I. So anyway, that's how they came to the name Roland Garros. And the French, being French, they were very particular. They said the name of the tournament is Roland Garros. It's not the French Open. So even TNT now, when you get the rights to do the tournament, you have to present it as Roland Garros. Presented here on Turner Sports. So that's the way it is. Great story, I think. So there you go.
Now I understand why. I still don't agree with it because my whole life it's been the French Open. My whole life it's been the French Open. So we enter week 2 of the tournament with no Americans on the men's or women's side in a year, especially on the men's side, where this thing was so wide open after Sinner goes out early, Djokovic goes out early, no Alcaraz. It's got to be disappointing as Patrick McEnroe, as your brother, John. You got to be disappointed that we have no Americans left on the men's side in a year where it was there for them.
We're used to that at this tournament. We're not as used to it on the women's side because Coco Gauff won it last year, and normally we have some women at least getting deep in the tournament. It just hasn't happened on the men's side here for a long time. I mean, Ben Shelton got to the 4th round last year. I think Tommy Paul was there as well. Maybe get to the quarters because I think he lost to Alcaraz too. So we're not really expecting the men, even with a wide open draw. The Europeans are still better on clay. That's just the bottom line. Berrettini, Arnaldi, the guy, Tiafoe had all sorts of opportunities to win that. I mean, he busted his ass out there. He had chances. He was up. It wasn't like he gave up or gave in. The guy got hot. He got beat. So, Shelton, I think, to me, was a big disappointment because he played pretty well on clay. He won a title this year in Munich, a smaller tournament. He played well here last year. And then right after the draw opened up was the Sinner loss. I think it was actually that night he lost to this Colin Young, who's a good player from Belgium. But to me, that was the biggest disappointment. I mean, Tommy Paul had 2 sets to love against Ruud, lost that. But, in a lot of ways, to me, Jason, this tournament's been a breath of fresh air. Because you saw Hodar, who just lost to Zverev in straights. You've seen what Fonseca's done, been amazing. On the top half,
young Frenchman, the young 17-year-old.
Yeah. So it's been really a breakout tournament for some of these young stars. We'll see if Fonseca can get through tonight against another young guy in Menchik, the 20-year-old guy from the Czech Republic. But look, the bottom line is Alexander Zverev, this is your chance. You just beat Hodar in straight sets. He's gotten through to the semifinals pretty much unscathed, which is not normal for him. Normally he has a couple of super long, tough matches, and there's no Sinner, there's no Alcaraz, there's no Djokovic, so this is his tournament to lose at the moment.
It's got to feel like if Zverev doesn't get it this time, he may never get it because it's sort of set up very well for him, obviously, with everything that's taken place. If not Zverev, who's your favorite?
I like Kaboli a lot. I like him to get through in the top half of the draw. He's the 10 seed. He beat Zach Zvida yesterday. I called that match. He was a youngster from Southern Cal, from San Diego, who had a great tournament. Made it a match after getting down 2 sets to love. But Kaboli's got it all, especially on clay. He's not that big of a guy, but he's got a big serve, great kick serve. one of the biggest forehands in the game, extremely quick, very athletic. I think he's the favorite to get to the final on the top half of the draw. He's got the other two Italians that I mentioned, Berrettini and Arnaldi, and then Felix Auger-Aliassime. He's got a shot too. I think Caboli's just generally a little bit better on clay. But and then the other X factor right now, Jason, is Fonseca, because Fonseca's got the biggest game of anyone left in the tournament. I mean, you saw that against Djokovic. Yep. You saw that against Ruud, the firepowers. I just think physically it's going to be tough for him to get through. I mean, he'll probably win tonight against Menchik, who's also had a couple of tough matches. But Zverev's going to be fresh. Zverev's going to make him work. But Fonseca would be the other X factor. This guy's going to win majors. I'm just not sure it's going to be here.
Is this the last time we see Djokovic at Roland Garros?
You know, I'm never going to say that because he's still playing at a high level. And I think with the way he played here, he's going to go into Wimbledon thinking that's his best shot to win one, when I think it is, especially with no Alcaraz there. Sinner will obviously be chomping at the bit to get back on track. But he's playing well enough. I mean, he played a great match against Fonseca. And I think he's got his sights set on the Olympic Games, trying to play that one more time for his country. So if that's the case, I think he may very well come back and play another Roland Garros next year. He still loves it. He's still playing at a high level, and he still believes he can actually win a major. And I think in the back of his mind, the way he wants to go out for his country and for his career is one more time at the LA Olympics.
Real quick on the women's side, it's got to be Sabalenka, right?
Well, I mean, Kostyuk and Andreeva, two really talented young players. So one of those two is going to be in the final. I think Sabalenka will be there waiting for him. But those two players, we've had our eyes on them for a while.
All right, if I was giving you John's money to bet on it, you're betting on Sabalenka.
Probably, yes. I'm not a betting man. No, you're a Vegas guy. I get it. But she's a favorite. But I think that those two are part of the future of women's tennis. They're great players.
Fair enough.
So I wouldn't be shocked if one of them wins it.
Last one on Serena. The announcement yesterday that she's going to come back and play the tune-up before Wimbledon on the doubles side. Is it a fait accompli, though, that she's doing this to ultimately get herself geared up to play singles at Wimbledon? That's the first question I would ask.
I'm not sure about Wimbledon, but I think for sure, maybe the Open. I think she wants to test the waters at Wimbledon. I mean, on the grass. But if she feels good and she feels like she can compete, I think she will play Wimbledon. I think she'll ask for the wild card to play singles and doubles. I mean, obviously she's going to get it. But I think it's sort of like a trial run. That's why she's starting early, like the next week, to give herself a couple of weeks, because there's a 3-week break now. So if she feels like, hey, I can get a couple doubles tournaments, I think she maybe even take a wild card in singles before Wimbledon, in one of the tournaments right before, maybe the second week, because I don't think she wants to go into Wimbledon as a singles player, not having played a match. So I think she's kind of dipping her feet in the doubles, but she's not just doing this to play doubles.
No.
She's doing this to play singles in a big tournament.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Look, as a one-off, if she is like works herself up, I think as a one-off, she could still beat anybody in one match. The problem is at a Grand Slam, you're going to win 7 matches, Patrick. As big of a believer as I am in the talent of Serena Williams, say it out loud. 7 matches. She's not winning 7 matches at this point, is she?
I wouldn't think so, but she believes, she's the ultimate competitor. So in addition to being an all-time great as a player, as a talent, she was an all-time competitor, and I think she feels like she thinks she can do it. And she seems to be in great shape. She took the weight loss drug. She's been promoting that. Now, whether that can translate into her being able to move around a tennis court is a whole different story. But I think she believes that she can do it. It's not like, you love boxing. I know you're a big boxing guy. Boxing, you could come back and have one fight, get gear up for that one thing. But you're right, to do it. And the fact of the matter is, the women's game is elevated big time since she left. She hasn't played for 4 years. So I think the speed of the game may surprise her. And I think that's why she's dipping the feet in the water and playing the doubles first.
I just watched Holly Holm at age 44 go in and beat a woman 20 years her junior She didn't win the decision. She should have. Everybody who watched the match said she won the match just Saturday night. So, like I said, that's why in a one-off, I think it's possible. I think the grind of 2 weeks and trying to win 7 matches is going to be too much. Last thing I want to ask you about. The timing of the announcement. Is that going to rub some people the wrong way that she's doing this in the middle of the French Open at Roland Garros and upstaging this event?
No, I don't. I don't think so. I mean, I got a lot of requests to come on some shows to discuss this in the last 48 hours. That's normal. I think to me, it's already kind of blowing over. And, people are focusing on this tournament, which is as well they should. But for the tournament to announce it, they had to announce, they could have announced it, I guess, 2 weeks ago, but, maybe Serena hadn't decided. I think she'd already decided. So, no, I don't think it's going to upstage this tournament. This tournament's got a huge amount of buzz despite no Americans in it over here. I mean, the crowds have been crazy, and the tennis has been lights out, all the 5-setters on the men's side. So I think, it's got its 24 hours, 48 hours of play. Obviously, a lot of anticipation for the tournament in London, so they're pumped at the Queen's Club, which now is a women's tournament, then a men's tournament. So I don't think that was planned in any way to try to upstage this event. I don't think that's going to happen.
The general reaction at Roland Garros amongst tennis people, amongst fans, skepticism, excitement, curiosity. What would be the word you would use?
I think for the casual tennis fan, it's major excitement.
I agree.
I think for the insider, it's like, wow. Yeah, I think for the insider, they're probably like, is she really going to be able to actually compete with these women that are out there now? I think most people think not, that she won't be able to. And I think that's exactly part of the reason why Serena's coming back, because she thinks she can.
Patrick McEnroe doing a terrific job over at Roland Garros. The French Open at Roland Garros on TNT. Doing a terrific job over there. You also see him with ESPN at all the Grand Slam events. Thank you, my friend. I always appreciate you.
Always good to be on with you, Jason. All the best.